Alright, come on, Vin. Alright, so that's my friend's RV up ahead, and I'm gonna follow to try to keep an eye in case there's problems with the car. I think it's a CV joint or a control arm. I got underneath. I don't know much about anything, and everything looked fine. GoPro, stop recording. This is being edited long after the car was fixed, but I guess seeing nothing that looked broken made sense since it ended up being a wheel bearing, which I already told you. Voice command. Recently found. Down. Down. 3. Navigate. Start new route. Continue on route. There you go. I didn't edit out, hey, this is how voice command works on Garmin. Really exciting. So in this video, I had plans to start doing a long ramble topic about stuff, but the video got way too long, so there's going to be 2 parts to this. And the first part is going to be mainly me talking, a little bit of rambling, and in parts 1 and 2, I'm going to go away from my normal, and there isn't going to be any music. I don't know if people like that. Some do, some don't. But again, I only sped this up about 3 times. And in the second part of the video, it's going to be better because the sun comes out. It's just beautiful. Just beautiful. I know I've been going to the UP for a while now. Again, this year wasn't planned. It happened because of COVID. And I probably show too much, but I just really like this area and I like sharing it with people. It's a cold day, but a pretty day. I've said it a couple times recently, but I really do plan on next year doing some traveling to areas I haven't been to before. I keep coming back up to the UP just because it's close, and I never used to be a person who wanted to go to the same places a lot, but then I kind of figured out if you like a place, you might as well go there. So that's what I've been doing. Again, this was not my plan, but the colors are beautiful. I guess I can do 2 more days in Ontonagon. So far, car seems fine. We'll stop up here in a bit and I'll check it out. I shook the tires all the way around, you know, didn't hear any noise, so I don't know. It did it one day. We drove it around the next day a lot, and it didn't do it until the end. If something's loose, I couldn't find anything loose, and like I said, I got under there. I love me some Subarus. I had my Subaru. I missed that car, but I couldn't, you know, I heard something's wrong, but I couldn't find any signs of wrong. So yeah, we'll see. Somebody smarter than me will look at it. It just, you know, it's just hard when you're traveling to get a mechanic, because I was telling her, I remember one of my trips coming back, I was going to see my aunt in Traverse City, and I had a bearing go, and it was sounding terrible. And it was the same thing. I called up the Dodge dealership in town, and they were like, we can get you in 2 weeks. And it was a Friday, and I asked, do you know anybody? And they gave me the name of this guy. It's in an old video. And I went there on Friday. He said, yeah, it's bearings. Maybe 1, possibly 2. Ended up being 2. He came in on Saturday morning and fixed it for me, and I was on my way, and same bearings are still in here, doing great, and charged me a reasonable price. The funny part with that guy was he didn't know anybody at the Dodge dealership and wasn't sure why they said his name, but
glad to get the business. And again, on your left, Lakenin Land. Lakenin Land is a really cool place. Guy was an old Union steel fitter, and he got all this scrap metal, and he's made a whole bunch of exhibits and stuff. You can walk around, drive around. Again, 5 miles from the Ojibwa Casino up here. And yeah, so there's that. That's enough of me rambling, but the colors are nice. It's tough for me going slower than I normally like to go, but I'll deal with it. 55 and a 65. Pulled over here. I got out and shook the wheel and looked, and everything seems okay. Again, I know enough to be dangerous. I am not a mechanic. Come on, Vin. I know you don't want to be driving today. You've been driving me crazy all morning, man. Alright, and we pulled over at the spot. I would come for sunsets when I stayed at Ojibwa that long time. Again, they do not have RV parking spots anymore. I've lost a couple good deals. That's a house I wanted to buy right there. But alas, I obviously haven't bought it. Another windy day. There's Ojibwa. They made it a great big hotel now. Since I'm talking, I ended up staying there at the Kawan Casino in Christmas for 3 days. We had contemplating asking, our plan had been, we were going to see if we could stay longer because it wasn't full, and the sign said because they've been so busy with RVers, and tell them, you know, we're trying to get the car into a shop. And she woke up this morning just ready to go, and I did the compromise with her to get her to go back to Ontonagon, where I know some people, you know, to at least check it out. And like I said in my update, I didn't want to leave. You don't leave a friend hanging. Even that all I really will be is moral support. I would just feel bad. You know, I want to make sure she's safe towing this car. I think it's safe to tow it, but as I say often, not a mechanic. I'm not many things. On a wide range of topics, I know enough just to be dangerous. You know, and that's like, even when I give RV advice, I'm giving opinions because I don't think myself to be a professional anything, and anything I ever say, I think it's wise for people to take with a grain of salt, as with honestly most people's advice. There's a lot of people that claim to be geniuses, and I personally don't know too many geniuses that spend their time on social media. So, you know, trust but verify, or whatever that saying is. But we're almost to Marquette, so I will shut up. Alright, driving through Marquette. Stop. I know where I'm going, elf boy, but thank you. Gotta stop at Walmart for cat stuff. You know, it's been a long trip when you brought a lot of litter and it ain't enough.
This trip made me think of what most RVers worry about when they're traveling, and that's vehicle problems. I got lucky, she did not. The most problems I've had with mine has really been control arms and suspension issues. I've had to do some replacements over the last few years, but nothing other than that. Well, I had a transmission issue a while back. But after this, she headed west, and I found out that she had an issue with her RV itself. It ended up she was able to get somebody to get her mostly fixed up and be able to get back on the road, but lucky it wasn't anything major, and that's just the thing you deal with RVing.
All right, driving through Nagani now,
Which is a nice little town just outside Marquette.
I like this lake. It's another overcast day. Berga's 61 miles. Going to Berga for gas. I put a splash in. I didn't need to put as much, but you know, I don't want to run out. Alright. A lot of this. A lot of beautiful color change.
But when you think about RV problems and vehicle problems, I guess she taught me something that on its face is right. I'm not sure I always agree with it, but no problems in your life are ever that big when you can just throw money at them. But I don't always have a lot of money to be throwing.
Again.
Meaning, sure, it sucks to have to spend money, but there are worse things that can happen in life.
Not gonna do it, but Ralph's is up here. I think when I come back, because I'm only going a couple days, I wanted to get her this far again, where people can help. She might need to go to doctor about that spider bite. We looked up poisonous ones, and there's not much up here, but she got a pretty big swollen spot on there. Ralph's looks closed. Uper's tourist trap is up here on the right, or on the left. Hilltop right ahead of you. That's my best Chicago Bears. The Bears. I haven't seen hardly any football. I mentioned Ralph's, which looked closed on Sunday, but did I mention I'm going to stop at Gene K's on the way back? Because I am. Use her freezer to refreeze my freezer packs. And they should be good for a couple, 3 days in my 12-volt cooler. Yep. Get about 10 of them, I think. Probably get a Kudagi for dinner that night. I've gotten to where I like the Kudagis. And I did a review. I've had 2 people try both Ralph's and Gene K's. And they both preferred Gene K's because they thought Ralph's was too spicy. I liked Ralph's because it was spicy, but I like the bread on Gene K, so it's a push for me. And I'm sure there's other places that make good Kudagis up here, but I do want to try to remember when I go to Gene K's to find out if they make their own bread, because I think they do. But we'll find out. They make a lot of subs and sandwiches in there. Their bread is very good. Alright, and here's Lowry's. Lowry's makes a really good pasty too. A couple people have mentioned when I talk about Gene K's, they bring up Lowry's. And like I said, Brian, who owns Gene K's, mentioned Lowry's as their closest competition. And Lowry's makes really good pasty. If you like Lowry's better, again, I've said it before, I'm not going to argue with you. I just prefer Gene K's. Again, I think it's the pasty part. The fillings are pretty much the same, but what do you call it? The casing, the pastry, or whatever the wrapping is on the pasty. It's got a name, I bet. But that, I think, is better at Gene K's. But Lowry's makes a darn good pasty. If Gene K's was closed, I wouldn't, not closed down, but on a day, you know, closed for a day, and I just had to have a pasty, I wouldn't be upset about getting a Lowry's pasty. That's my thoughts on that. Trying to follow, which is hard for me, and I'm trying to follow close enough to keep an eye, and in case something catastrophic, which I really don't expect. I think her car's fine to tow back, but keep enough distance, because again, objects in GoPro are farther away than they appear, but keep enough distance that I don't hit something. Champion. I got pretty leaves in Champion.
That's the end of what I'm going to call part 1. And part 2 will be the rest of the drive to Ontonagon with what I think is hopefully going to be a pretty decent ramble topic I hope people might enjoy. But until then, have a great and wonderful day.